Have you ever felt like you're constantly giving pieces of yourself to people who wouldn't do the same for you? Maybe it's in a relationship where you're always the one who compromises, or a friendship that feels one-sided. It's exhausting, isn't it? Feeling like you're pouring your energy into a black hole and still wondering why you don't feel seen or appreciated. And here's the funny thing. It's not just them. It's us, too. We hold on because we think if we try harder, care more, or give just a little bit extra, things will change. But ask yourself, at what cost? How many times have you sacrificed your peace, your happiness, and even your sense of self for the sake of someone else's comfort or approval? This is where detachment changes the game. Because detachment isn't about giving up on people or becoming emotionally numb. It's about setting yourself free. It's realizing that you don't have to carry the weight of everyone else's expectations. You don't have to fight for space in someone else's mind or heart. When you learn to let go, not out of spite, but out of self-respect, you reclaim something priceless: your energy, your time, and most importantly, yourself. In this video, we're going to explore how to detach from others, stop overcaring, and build a life where your peace doesn't depend on anyone else. It's not easy, but the freedom it brings, that's where happiness begins. Before we begin, please subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss out on more amazing videos like this. Let's get started. Why caring too much is draining you. We've been taught to care since the moment we could understand what it meant. Be kind, be thoughtful, put others first. And while there's nothing wrong with compassion, somewhere along the way, we crossed a line. We started carrying not just our emotions, but everyone else's too. Their problems, their opinions, their expectations. They've piled up, leaving you running on empty. Think about how often you let someone else's mood dictate yours. A rude comment ruins your entire day. A silent treatment from a loved one makes you spiral into self-doubt. It's as if we've handed over the keys to our happiness to anyone who crosses our path. And the worst part? Most of them don't even realize they're holding that kind of power over you. They're just living their lives, while you're stuck overthinking every glance, every word, every perceived rejection. The hard truth is that caring too much is like trying to fill a bucket with no bottom. No matter how much you pour in, it'll never be enough because it's not your bucket to fill. Marcus Aurelius, in all his Stoic wisdom, put it perfectly. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. His words are a reminder that life is fleeting, and wasting it on people or situations that drain us is the ultimate loss. Detachment isn't about shutting people out. It's about stepping back and asking yourself, is this worth my peace? Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every opinion needs a response, and not every person deserves your energy. The moment you start to see your time and peace as sacred, you'll realize how much of it you've been giving away for free, and how much of it you can reclaim. The art of not caring, redefining what matters. The act of not caring is often misunderstood. It's not about being reckless or indifferent to everything and everyone. It's about being deliberate with where you choose to invest your energy. In a world that demands so much from us, our attention, our time, our emotions, it's easy to get caught up in the noise. Everyone wants a piece of you. But here's the question you need to ask yourself: who deserves it? Think of life like a garden. You've got a bunch of plants, different relationships, responsibilities, obligations. Now imagine you have limited water to give. You can't water every single plant in your garden. Some of them are thriving on their own. Some need constant attention, and others might even be draining your resources without giving anything back. If you try to water every plant equally, none of them are going to grow the way you want them to. You'll run out of energy before you even start to see results. So the key is to focus on the plants that truly matter, the ones that align with your values, the ones that bring you joy, growth, and fulfillment. This concept of prioritization is crucial to learning how to detach. Think of it this way. You can't control the weather in your garden, just like you can't control other people's reactions or opinions. The soil might not be perfect, pests may show up, and sometimes it rains when you least expect it. But you can control how much water and care you give to each plant. You can choose where to direct your time and energy. The same applies to your life. You can't control how others behave or think, but you can control your response to them, your reactions, your focus, your boundaries. That's where your power lies. The most difficult part might be learning to say no without guilt. This doesn't mean becoming cold-hearted or selfish. It means recognizing that your time is valuable. When you say no to things that drain you, you're not rejecting the person or the request. You're protecting your mental and emotional resources. You're choosing to invest your energy where it matters most. And that's a game changer. When you start identifying what aligns with your values, you become selective about what gets your energy. Is this request, this relationship, this obligation serving you? Does it bring you closer to your goals, or does it pull you away from them? This process of intentional living is what detachment is all about. It's about creating space in your life for what you actually care about, instead of wasting time and energy on things that are just taking up room. The art of not caring is learning to say no without regret, without guilt, and with complete clarity. It's about understanding that not everything and everyone deserves a seat at your table. You can't be everything to everyone, and that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's necessary. Your energy, your time, and your mental well-being are sacred, and when you start investing them wisely, you'll find that the things that truly matter will thrive. Relationships and detachment. Loving without losing yourself. We've all been there, feeling the pull to bend over backward in a relationship to make someone else happy. Whether it's constantly seeking reassurance from a partner, giving up your own interests to accommodate theirs, or sacrificing your own peace to avoid conflict, emotional dependence in relationships can easily take root. At first, it feels like love. You want to show you care, to meet their needs. But soon, this dependence starts to erode your own sense of self. The love you give feels conditional, like you're constantly performing to earn it. And when it's not returned in the way you expect, you're left feeling drained, unseen, and frustrated. Emotional dependence comes from the belief that your happiness is tied to someone else's behavior or approval. The more you seek reassurance, the more you give up your own needs, and the more you sacrifice yourself, the more fragile your relationship becomes. It's as though you're building a house on quicksand. No matter how much you give, the foundation isn't strong enough to stand. Over time, this dynamic only breeds resentment and dissatisfaction for both parties. The truth is that detachment strengthens relationships. Yes, you heard that right. When you stop seeking validation from others, you stop operating out of desperation. And when that desperation is removed, something beautiful happens. Respect flourishes. Think about the most fulfilling relationships in your life. Are they the ones where you feel free to be yourself, or the ones where you feel like you're constantly performing to meet someone's expectations? True love isn't about losing yourself in the other person. It's about showing up as your best self, without fear of judgment or rejection. When you detach, you bring a sense of calm, emotional security, and mutual respect into the relationship. You no longer need to beg for attention or constantly worry about losing them. Instead, you both can love each other without the weight of expectations. One of the core aspects of detachment in relationships is setting healthy boundaries. And here's the reality. It's not your job to save, fix, or please anyone but yourself. In our society, we're often taught to give everything to others, to be selfless and accommodating, sometimes at the cost of our well-being. But this isn't sustainable. Healthy relationships are built on respect for your own needs and respect for the needs of others. If you're constantly trying to save someone or fix their problems, you're doing them a disservice. They need to take responsibility for their own growth, just as you do for yours. So, how do you practice detachment in relationships without sacrificing love or connection? Start by focusing on your own growth. Keep nurturing your passions, goals, and hobbies. Make sure that you're still developing as an individual outside of the relationship. When you invest in your own life, you bring a sense of fulfillment and independence into your connection. You'll no longer rely on the relationship to complete you because you're already whole. Clear communication is another essential tip. Let your partner know what you need from the relationship, but also be open to hearing their needs. Detachment isn't about being cold or distant. It's about communicating your desires, setting your boundaries, and respecting each other's space. It's important to understand that relationships aren't about sacrificing your own happiness to keep someone else happy. They're about growing together, not losing yourself in the process. Lastly, embrace impermanence. Nothing in life lasts forever, and neither do relationships. People change, circumstances shift, and sometimes relationships run their course. When you detach, you start to accept that love doesn't need to be forever to be meaningful. Loving someone fully and completely doesn't mean holding on tightly. It means being open to what they bring into your life at the moment and appreciating it for what it is. By embracing impermanence, you free yourself from the anxiety of needing to control the relationship's outcome, allowing love to flow freely without the pressure. Detachment in relationships doesn't mean withdrawing emotionally or stopping love. It means loving without losing yourself. When you stop relying on someone else to define your worth, you create a space where both partners can be their true selves, free from fear, guilt, or manipulation. By setting boundaries, focusing on your own growth, and accepting the impermanence of life, you build stronger, healthier relationships that stand the test of time. Detachment from criticism and praise. Stop letting others define you. We all crave praise. It's human nature. Whether it's the recognition from a boss, a compliment from a friend, or an enthusiastic round of applause after a performance, the feeling of being admired or appreciated is addicting. On the other hand, the sting of criticism is equally powerful. The hurtful comment from a colleague, the judgment from a stranger, the harsh words from someone we care about. It cuts deep. We become emotionally tethered to both extremes, riding the highs of praise and drowning in the lows of criticism. But here's the thing. Both praise and criticism are forms of emotional slavery. When we place too much weight on the validation of others, we lose our sense of autonomy. Our happiness becomes a byproduct of their approval or disapproval. This means that every time someone praises us, we feel validated, and every time we face criticism, we feel worthless. But isn't this exhausting? Living for others' opinions is like running a race where they keep moving the finish line. No matter how fast or hard you run, the goalposts keep shifting, and you're left feeling like you're never truly winning. You're always chasing something outside of yourself, trying to please people who may never truly appreciate your worth. This is where the wisdom of the Stoics comes in. Epictetus, one of the leading Stoic philosophers, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Stoicism teaches us to detach from the external, whether it's praise or criticism, and stay grounded in our own principles. It encourages us not to place our value in the hands of others. Instead of letting applause define you or disapproval break you, Stoicism asks, what do you stand for? What are your own values and your own sense of purpose? When you focus on internal growth rather than seeking validation from the outside world, your emotional freedom expands. You stop being a puppet, dancing to the strings of other people's opinions. So, how do you start practicing detachment from praise and criticism? The first step is to pause before reacting. When someone offers praise, don't let yourself bask in it for too long. And when someone criticizes you, don't let the sting linger. Simply acknowledge the comment, whether positive or negative, and remind yourself that it's just one person's opinion, just like any other. By practicing this neutral stance, you prevent yourself from getting swept up in the emotional extremes that come with praise or criticism. Your worth doesn't fluctuate with their words. Another way to build detachment is to practice neutrality. When you can, take a moment to distance yourself from the situation emotionally. Instead of absorbing someone else's judgment, ask yourself, what do I truly think of this? Whether it's a compliment or a critique, you have the power to assess the situation objectively. Is the praise truly earned? Or is it just a reflection of someone's fleeting mood? Is the criticism constructive? Or is it rooted in their own insecurities? When you learn to neutralize external opinions, you stay rooted in your own understanding of your value. Always remind yourself that other people's opinions say more about them than about you. A person who constantly seeks to tear others down is revealing their own insecurities. Someone who heaps praise without substance may be motivated by their own agenda or biases. Remember, no matter how well-meaning or cruel a comment is, it's just that, an external observation. It's their perspective, not your reality. And by embracing this, you free yourself from the emotional entanglements of both praise and criticism. To put this into practice, here's a simple exercise. The next time someone offers praise or criticism, take a moment to reflect before responding. Instead of reacting right away, take a few deep breaths and consider what is being said. Does it align with your own beliefs? Does it affect your sense of self-worth? If it does, pause and ask yourself, why? If it doesn't, simply let it pass through you. The more you practice this kind of detachment, the more you'll notice that external opinions don't have the same power over you. You'll be able to accept praise without needing it and withstand criticism without crumbling. By shifting your focus from external validation to internal strength, you reclaim your peace. You stop being a slave to others' opinions and start living for yourself. In the end, your happiness is not determined by what others think of you, but by how you think of yourself. Detachment as self-respect. When you finally let go of the need to please everyone and stop caring too much, something incredible happens. You start caring better, not in a cold or indifferent way, but in a way that values and prioritizes your own well-being. Detachment, in this sense, isn't about being unfeeling or selfish. It's about honoring your own worth and recognizing that you deserve peace, too. The truth is, when we overcare, constantly bending ourselves to fit others' expectations, we slowly lose ourselves in the process. Caring too much in the end leads to burnout, resentment, and a loss of identity. You give so much of yourself away that there's nothing left for you. How many times have you sacrificed your own needs, bent your values, or overlooked your desires just to keep someone else happy? Maybe it's been for a partner, a family member, or even a friend. Perhaps you've told yourself that their happiness was more important than your own, or that you should put your dreams on hold for their convenience. Over time, this repeated act of self-neglect starts to feel draining. It leads to frustration, bitterness, and eventually burnout. It's like giving your all to others, but constantly feeling invisible in return. But here's the thing. When you care too much about others, you stop caring enough about yourself. This cycle of self-sacrifice might seem noble at first, but in reality, it depletes your energy and distorts your sense of who you are. The key to reclaiming your peace lies in detaching from the constant need to please. When you stop allowing others to drain your energy, you finally begin to prioritize yourself, your needs, your happiness, and your well-being. This isn't about shutting people out or becoming aloof. It's about recognizing that your peace is your responsibility and choosing to protect it. Self-respect isn't about being perfect or always available for others. It's about setting boundaries and knowing when to walk away from situations that aren't serving you. Take a moment to think about how much of your energy is currently spent trying to fulfill other people's expectations or keep others comfortable at the cost of your own peace. Detachment gives you the strength to step back and reassess what's truly worth your time and energy. It's about saying no when you need to, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. It's about creating space for yourself without feeling guilty, acknowledging that your happiness isn't tied to the approval or validation of others. Walking away from situations that no longer serve you doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you someone who knows their worth and chooses to protect their peace. Whether it's ending a toxic friendship, stepping away from a draining relationship, or simply distancing yourself from negativity, detachment allows you to create the space you need to focus on your growth. It's not about rejection, it's about preservation. By choosing to detach, you make room for more meaningful connections that honor your values and bring joy into your life. When you begin to care less about pleasing others, you'll find that you can love and care more deeply in the ways that actually matter, without losing yourself in the process. Self-respect isn't about being selfish. It's about making the choice to value yourself. It's about recognizing that you have the right to exist without constantly having to prove your worth. And when you stop over-caring about others' opinions, you begin to reclaim your peace and the power to live on your terms. The happier you, freedom through detachment. Detachment brings with it a sense of freedom that is hard to truly understand until you experience it. It's not about running away from life, ignoring emotions, or becoming indifferent. It's about creating the mental and emotional space to breathe, to think, and to simply be. Imagine waking up every day feeling lighter, free from the weight of other people's expectations, free from the constant need for approval. That's the gift detachment offers: peace of mind, emotional clarity, and a resilience that no amount of outside judgment can shake. You stop feeling like you're at the mercy of the world, instead realizing that you're the one in control of how much you allow into your life. When you stop holding on to the need to be liked, accepted, or validated, your internal world shifts. Suddenly, you're not reacting to every little comment, every sideways glance, or every slight opinion. Instead, you approach life with a quiet strength, grounded in your own values. You can walk through life with a sense of emotional clarity that only comes when you're no longer entangled in the constant tug-of-war of pleasing others. Emotional resilience becomes your superpower. You're able to bounce back quicker because you're no longer relying on outside sources to tell you who you are or what you should be. Now take a moment to think. What opinions, relationships, or fears are you clinging to right now? What part of you is still tied to seeking approval or avoiding judgment? What would happen if you simply let go of that attachment? If you stopped holding your breath, waiting for others to approve or reassure you? Imagine the emotional lightness you could experience, the energy you'd free up for the things that truly matter. Detachment isn't about being heartless, cold, or uncaring. Far from it. It's about protecting your heart from the outside noise and choosing what you give your emotional energy to. It's about drawing a line between your feelings and those of others, recognizing that you can love, care, and engage without losing yourself in the process. Detachment is a skill, one that may feel difficult at first, but one that transforms your life when practiced. The more you learn to give less of a damn about things that don't align with your values, the more you empower yourself to become the truest, most authentic version of yourself. Not caring isn't a form of rebellion against the world. It's a declaration of self-respect. It's a way of saying, I will not let anyone or anything steal my peace, my joy, or my sense of self. This is the foundation of living a happier, freer life. When you stop giving so much weight to what others think, you're left with room to grow, to create, and to live with intention. You become the person who chooses their path, not the one who is constantly reacting to the world around them. Detachment gives you back your life. So, what will you choose today? Will you keep holding on to the things that weigh you down? Or will you begin to practice the freedom that comes with letting go? In a world that constantly tells us we need to care about what others think, learning to detach and prioritize ourselves can be the ultimate game changer. It's not about being selfish. It's about recognizing that your peace and self-worth come from within, not from the approval of others. Detachment frees you from the emotional roller coaster of external validation, and in doing so, it empowers you to focus on what truly matters to you. The more you let go of the unnecessary weight, the more room you make for growth, joy, and freedom. Before you go, if you found this video helpful and want to continue on the path to a happier, better you, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another episode. We're all about helping you become the best version of yourself, so share your thoughts in the comments below and tell us how you're planning to implement detachment into your life. Let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.